Hello everyone. We are going to examine an important eclipse with you now. The partial lunar eclipse that'll take place at 4 degrees of Pisces on August 28th symbolizes the unraveling of a mental, spiritual, and systemic knot in the sky. The mercurial nature of the eclipse brings themes of processing information, analyzing, discerning the truth, and decision-making to the forefront. In astrology, the sign of Pisces represents surrender, the subconscious, the veil of illusion, and sacrifices. Mercury in Virgo, on the other hand, symbolizes logic, attention to detail, meticulousness, and at times control and order. This Mercury-ruled eclipse will ask us to examine the illusions we have blindly believed in, sacrificed ourselves for, or ignored for a long time in our lives, with a sharp and rational mind. The answer to the question, "Where am I deceiving myself?" may fall right in front of us with shocking mental awakenings. The eclipse axis is forming a dynamic and jarring T-square with Uranus and Gemini. If Uranus is involved, everything changes suddenly and unexpectedly. This is the absolute energy of the straw that broke the camel's back. The shocking news we receive, sudden flows of information, or travel and communication crises might throw us out of that comfort zone we've been stuck in for a while. The sudden collapse of old thought patterns and plans is actually to make room for a new and free vision. Feelings, fears, or financial exploitations that were hidden just to keep the peace can no longer remain secret with the sudden shock of Uranus. In relationships where distance has been kept for a while and cold winds have been blowing, a sudden midnight explosion, an unexpected message, or a shocking confession might come to the agenda. On the other hand, the negative aspect Venus makes to retro Saturn triggers a massive "are we in or out" question in all relational and financial structures. On one side, there is Venus in Libra, which tries to compromise and establish balance for the sake of harmony and justice. On the other, there's a rigid Saturn in Aries, which goes on the defensive due to past wounds, building walls by saying "you aren't enough for me" or "I cannot take responsibility." The eclipse makes the coldness and distance between these two opposite poles karmically visible. During this period, we may realize that we have been putting the people in our lives on a pedestal, but because of those rigid internal blockages created by Saturn, we feel inadequate or immature in front of them. The mercurial nature of the eclipse will enable us to realize that this fear of inadequacy or inability to open up is actually a mental illusion stemming from the past. Uranus will also tear down that insurmountable wall created by this opposition with lightning speed. The protective and constructive trine aspect that Jupiter makes to retro Saturn actually shows the way out of this crisis. On a universal level, the sky says you can't hide behind your fears and run away. If you want to protect a relationship or a financial asset, you must set your ego aside and take responsibility maturely. For those who set their boundaries with justice and wisdom, this opposition will end exploitative relationships that have run their course, while placing faded and deep-rooted bonds on an unshakable foundation. In summary, this eclipse is a harsh but awakening celestial movement that tells you that you can no longer play the victim. Uranus may shake you with sudden situations. Venus may make you feel lonely in relationships. However, this eclipse heralds that anyone who takes responsibility and learns from their past mistakes will emerge from this crisis with tremendous strength, building lasting structures. If you ask who will be affected the most, those with planets between 1 and 10 degrees in Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius will receive the most impact. Also, those with planets between 1 and 10 degrees in Cancer, Scorpio, Taurus, and Capricorn are the ones who will emerge from this eclipse with positive results. That's all from me for this week. But please don't forget to listen to your rising and sun signs from my avatar and to like and comment. See you again. Take very good care of yourselves.
Dear Aries, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th is occurring in your 12th house, which represents the most mysterious, deepest, and beyond your control. In astrology, the 12th house governs the subconscious, hidden hostilities, backstabbing, isolation, spiritual healing, and karmic themes beyond our control. Mercury and the Sun in Virgo, opposite the 12th house, are positioned in your 6th house. Because this is a mercurial eclipse, it brings to the surface psychological burdens you've been suppressing for a long time, avoiding confronting or feeling like a victim of. Gossip, hidden animosities, or projects in your work environment that have been kept secret from you may suddenly surface. You will question the excessive sacrifices you've made within yourself. You will find a rational answer to the question, for whom and why am I wearing myself out like this? And experience a mental cleansing. Your mental and physical health will enter a healing process with this eclipse. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This means that shocking news or an impulsive statement from someone close to you, a sibling or a business partner, could completely change the agenda. Communication crises, suddenly canceled contracts, or disruptions to travel plans may occur. Uranus will bring hidden information to your consciousness at lightning speed. You should remain calm about what you say or what is said to you and avoid impulsive decisions in traffic and digital correspondence. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn in your sign is the greatest reward of this eclipse for you. Regardless of the mental crisis created by Uranus, you will manage to remain centered. Saturn in the first house has taught you about life, taking responsibility, and maturity in recent months. With the support from Jupiter's house of love and creativity, you can transform a past unfinished talent, hobby, or love story into a much more lasting, disciplined, and visible success this time. Thanks to your self-confidence, you won't let behind-the-scenes machinations destroy you, and you will emerge onto the stage as a more mature individual. On the other hand, tension in your relationships can cause you to experience fear of inadequacy or inability to take responsibility in marriage and partnerships. You may feel a fated entrapment between the attraction you feel for your partner and the rigid blockages within yourself that say, I'm inadequate, or I need to grow. A shocking wave of communication or a fateful confrontation could suddenly shatter these hidden fears and illusions. By forcibly resolving the inability to open up or distance crisis in your relationships, you will either leave your fears behind and take responsibility, or you will close that relationship chapter completely. In summary, this eclipse is a period of major cleansing and system setup for you. You will weed out those who plot against you, those who exploit you like a slave in the workplace, or the victim mentality that clouds your judgment, all thanks to the sudden shock of Uranus. With the wisdom of Saturn in your first house and the joy of Jupiter in your fifth house, you will emerge from these crises as a much more charismatic, creative, and confident leader. Aware of your limits and what you want. Release what you cannot control. The sky is activating this area to move you to a much more solid foundation. Dear Taurus, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th is occurring in your 11th house, the most social, idealistic, and hopeful area of your chart. In astrology, the 11th house governs social circles, friendships, communities, organizations, career gains, and dreams. Mercury and the Sun in Virgo, opposite the 11th house, are positioned in your 5th house. Because this is a mercurial eclipse, it will cause you to question, with clear logic, the long-standing trust and sacrifices you've made in your friendships. You may see the true faces of some of your friends and clearly distinguish who is a friend and who is an enemy. You may make a fated decision to sever ties with social groups that burden you and drain your energy. You will revise your dreams for the future, abandon unrealistic visions, and focus on more rational projects. Uranus in Gemini is forming a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This could bring about very sudden, shocking financial developments. Starting a business partnership with a friend or lending money to a friend could lead to a major crisis during this period. Or making impulsive decisions in the stock market or investments could result in significant losses. During this time, you should protect your budget very tightly and be wary of sudden expenses and risky investments. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be an antidote to the chaos in the outside world. No matter how much turmoil you experience in your social circle or financial life, your family, home, and inner world will be a tremendous anchor for you. The spiritual wisdom and maturity you bring from the past merge with the peace and abundance in your home. During this period, spending time alone, meditating, taking care of your home, or seeking advice from elders will give you the strength to manage crises. You will feel much stronger and more protected spiritually. On the other hand, while trying to keep everything balanced at work and get along well with everyone, hidden hostilities, obstacles, or undeserved rewards may surface. You may realize that too much responsibility has been placed on you because you can't say no. This indicates that subconscious burdens, such as chronic fatigue, stress, or insomnia, can manifest in your body. Therefore, you should make time to rest. You will question who you work for and whom you serve in your life. While you do your job with love and fairness, you may feel that the system or invisible authorities don't appreciate you enough, and you may make a fated decision to change jobs or renew your routine. In summary, this eclipse tells you, open your eyes to your social circle, your friends, and your dreams for the future. Break free from illusions. Don't take impulsive risks with money, as a crisis may be on the horizon. Let go of perfectionism in love and life, and trust in your inner home and spiritual sanctuary. True peace is not in the crowd outside, but in your own roots. Dear Gemini, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th occurs in your 10th house, which represents the apex of your chart, visibility, and public image. In astrology, the 10th house governs career, profession, social status, achievements, and relationships with authority figures. Its opposite sign, Virgo, is located in your 4th house. Because this eclipse has a mercurial nature, it will rationally question the goals, ideals, and sacrifices you've blindly pursued in your career for so long. A great veil of fog surrounding your future goals and profession is lifting. You will clearly see the direction you are heading in your professional life. You will need to re-establish balance between your home and work life. A fateful job change, promotion, or resignation may occur simultaneously with moving, rearranging your home life, or resolving a family matter. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This indicates that you will experience the most dynamic and disruptive effects of the eclipse. You may change the course of your life, not through the decisions of others, but through your own sudden and impulsive outbursts. You might suddenly quit your job, get married, get divorced, or make a radical change in your appearance, saying, I can't take it anymore. These shocking steps you take to take control of your life will create a lightning effect in your career and family life. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be your greatest savior during this period. Your close circle, siblings, and old friends will offer immense support to prevent you from being swept away by sudden winds of change. You can seek advice from wise people you've known from the past and transform your business ideas into long-term and lasting projects. Your mind will work brilliantly. You will generate ingenious ideas and strategies to manage crises. On the other hand, there may be tension in your love life or relationships with your social circle and friend groups. Your friends may not approve of your partner, or a fated distance or coldness may come between you and your social circle because of your partner. You should avoid moves that will jeopardize your future plans regarding investments in the stock market, as Saturn will want you to set boundaries here. For those with children, balancing social life with childcare responsibilities may be somewhat difficult during this period. In summary, this eclipse tells you, lift the fog from your eyes regarding what you want in your career and future. Leave behind the jobs and situations where you sacrificed yourself. Use the revolutionary, liberating energy brought by Uranus, not blindly, but by blending it with your intelligence and the wisdom of old friends. In love and in areas where you enjoy life, proceed with awareness of your boundaries and a sense of responsibility. Dear Cancer, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th is taking place in your 9th house, the most visionary, faith-filled, and expansive area of your chart. In astrology, the 9th house governs perspective on life, beliefs, philosophy, academic education, international connections, foreigners, legal processes, and long journeys. Its opposite sign, Virgo, is located in your 3rd house. Because this eclipse has a mercurial nature, it will initiate a rational questioning of your life philosophy, future plans, and long-held beliefs. The old veil of fog obscuring your view of life is completely dissipating. If you have an ongoing legal process, overseas plans, visa application, or academic pursuits, you may receive fateful and clear outcomes in these matters. Your communication with those close to you will be reshaped to realize your grand vision for life. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This indicates the possibility of encountering sudden, shocking situations beyond your control during the eclipse period. It may intensely activate your dreams or suddenly bring a suppressed fear to your conscious mind. A secret, rumor, or gossip about something happening behind your back may suddenly reach your ears. During this time, you should be vigilant against hidden hostilities, protect your mental health, and avoid impulsive decisions. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be an antidote to the mental chaos outside. No matter how much your subconscious is shaken, you are under tremendous protection regarding your career and earnings. You can reap the rewards of your past hard work and patience in the form of material gains and financial growth. Thanks to your professional standing and authority, you will not allow behind-the-scenes machinations to destroy you, and you will stand much more firmly on your own 2 feet financially. On the other hand, you may feel a faded entanglement between your home, family, and work, career, and responsibilities. The heavy burdens and rules of work life may prevent you from finding peace at home and time with your family. A faded distance or coldness may develop between you and your elders or superiors at work. This process will teach you to draw the boundaries between work and private life in a much more mature and balanced way. In summary, this eclipse tells you, become clear in your future plans, beliefs, and life vision. Leave illusions behind. Don't succumb to sudden inner fears or hidden gossip brought by Uranus. Move forward relying on your career experience and your own financial strength. When you establish that balance of responsibilities between your home and work, life will offer you much more lasting and unwavering success. Dear Leo, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th occurs in your 8th house, the most crisis-prone, transformative area of your chart, symbolizing financial partnerships. In astrology, the 8th house governs shared earnings, spouse's money, inheritance, debts, loans, taxes, surgeries, and fated transformations. Its opposite sign, Virgo, is located in your 2nd house. Because this eclipse has a mercurial nature, it will make you question, with rational thought, situations you've long blindly trusted or let go of, especially in financial matters. The old fog surrounding your financial resources is completely dissipating. Your spouse's financial situation, the income from a joint business venture, a loan, tax, or inheritance matter will become clear. You will take fateful steps to pay off a debt or restructure your receivables with a rational plan. On a spiritual level, you will confront your deep subconscious fears, such as death, loss, or inadequacy, by reasoning, and you will rise from the ashes. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. A shocking piece of news or a sudden confrontation from your social circle or a friend could completely change the agenda. Financial crises and your social relationships may become entangled. For example, you might experience a financial problem with a friend or suddenly end a friendship due to a debt-credit issue. A big dream or project you've been planning for the future may have to change direction due to a sudden influx of information. During this period, you should avoid impulsive outbursts in your friendships. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be your greatest anchor and shield during this period. No matter how much Uranus disrupts your social life or brings financial crises, you will shine with immense power centered on yourself. Jupiter will give you tremendous optimism, charisma, and luck, while Saturn's wise gaze will enable you to put the lessons learned from your past experiences into practice. Thanks to your beliefs, you will stand tall and achieve long-term, unwavering, and lasting success in international business, academic pursuits, or legal battles. On the other hand, you may experience a faded divergence in your worldview, beliefs, and vision with those close to you, such as siblings or neighbors. You may encounter obstacles or coldness stemming from distant sources, authorities, or legal processes when defending your ideas. You may need to pay extra attention to rules when making a business contract or starting an education. This process will teach you to structure your mental boundaries and communication style in a much more mature, distanced, and balanced way. In summary, this eclipse is telling you, be clear about your shared finances, debts, and subconscious fears. Leave the victim role behind. Don't get stuck on sudden friendship crises or disappointments. Trust in the immense charisma, self-confidence, and faith-filled wisdom that Jupiter brings. Be fair in your communication with those close to you, but remember to set mature boundaries. Dear Virgo, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th occurs in your 7th house, which is the exact opposite of your axis of relationships and partnerships. In astrology, the 7th house governs marriage, serious relationships, business partnerships, contracts, and open hostilities. Virgo, the opposite sign, is located in your 1st house. Because this eclipse occurs under the guidance of Mercury, the ruler of your sign, you are experiencing one of the greatest impacts on your life. You will use your sign's rational, analytical, and clear mind to examine all the dynamics in your relationships that you have blindly believed in, sacrificed yourself for, or ignored for so long. The answer to the question, where have I been deceiving myself, will be revealed in your marriage, relationship, or partnership. You may see your partner's true face and the things they have been hiding. You will stop playing the victim role in the relationship and reestablish the balance between me and us. Outdated bonds that don't make you feel valued may fatedly break. Solid relationships, on the other hand, may become clearer and more serious. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This upheaval in your relationships could trigger a sudden and shocking change in your career and public image. You might suddenly change jobs, resign, or impulsively enter into a marriage or divorce process due to a surprising partnership ending. Sudden communication crises with superiors or authority figures at work may occur. Uranus here will create a lightning effect that will suddenly change your status. Therefore, you should avoid impulsive outbursts and burning bridges abruptly. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be your greatest spiritual and material anchor during this period. No matter how much turmoil you experience in the outside world and in your career, you are under immense divine protection in the background. Past financial crises, debts, or tax burdens may be resolved through hidden support, an inheritance, or a subconscious awakening. Spiritually, you will find the strength to confront your fears. Solitude, meditation, and deep inquiry will give you the wisdom to manage crises. On the other hand, you may find yourself caught in a fated dilemma between your own earnings and debts, loans, or your spouse's partner's money. You risk feeling financially restricted or inadequate. Saturn reminds you here that you need to manage your money much more maturely, strategically, and disciplinedly. In relational terms, you will question, how much effort am I putting into this relationship? And how much material and emotional value am I receiving? And set firm boundaries against financial exploitation. In summary, this eclipse tells you, open your eyes in your relationships and marriage. Dismantle the illusions you've sacrificed yourself to, using your own logic. Face sudden changes in your career and status with composure. Protect your money and budget. Set boundaries in your debt relationships with Saturn's discipline. When you trust the immense, wise power within your soul and subconscious, you will emerge from this fated transformation as a much stronger you. Dear Libra, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th is taking place in your 6th house, which symbolizes daily life, work environment, and physical health. In astrology, the 6th house governs daily routines, colleagues, working conditions, chores, pets, and physical health. Its opposite sign, Virgo, is located in your 12th house. Because this eclipse has a mercurial nature, it will rationally question the working conditions in your daily life where you have long blindly sacrificed yourself and felt like a victim. The old fog in your eyes regarding your work environment, daily hustle and bustle, or burdensome tasks will completely dissipate. You may see the true faces of the people you work with and restructure your relationships with colleagues with clear logic. A fated job change, project deadline, or workspace renovation may come to the fore. Your physical health may become more sensitive during this period. It's time to let go of the victim mentality and take care of your body with a rational treatment or diet plan. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This transformation in your daily work life may be triggered suddenly and dramatically. A surprise offer from abroad, a sudden visa or passport development, or a shocking change in the direction of an ongoing legal process may come to the fore. You may experience a radical shift in your mindset, I can't tolerate this anymore moment in your belief system or worldview. You should be flexible in the face of sudden crises in your education or travel plans, and avoid impulsive decisions. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be an antidote to the upheavals in the outside world. No matter how much tension you experience in your professional life or outlook on life, your relationships and friendships will be a tremendous anchor for you. Your serious relationships from the past, your marriage or former partners, which have stood the test of time, will be strengthened by great support from your social circle and friends. You will utilize the wise and mature experiences from your relationships to bring your dreams for the future to life. On the other hand, no matter how strong and right you feel, your partner, spouse, or associate may stand before you like a wall, rigid, cold, or distant. You risk feeling lonely or inadequate in the relationship due to your partner's heavy responsibilities or distant attitude. Saturn will teach you here not to idealize your partner too much and to set boundaries in the relationship in a much more mature, realistic, and selfless way. Past relationship debts and crises may be brought to the table during this period, and a fateful decision may be made. In summary, this eclipse tells you In your daily work life and health, sift through and organize everything you've sacrificed or blindly endured, using your own logic. Remain calm in the face of sudden changes in beliefs or vision. Trust in the immense grace and self-worth of Venus in your sign. However, maturely accept the rules and boundaries imposed by others, and re-establish the balance between I and we. Dear Scorpio, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th is taking place in your 5th house, the luckiest, most creative, and joyful area of your chart. In astrology, the 5th house governs love life, flirting, children, hobbies, creativity, being in the spotlight, and speculative investments like the stock market and cryptocurrencies. Its opposite sign, Virgo, is located in your 11th house. Because this eclipse has a mercurial nature, it will rationally question long-held beliefs or sacrifices in your love life and areas where you find enjoyment. In your love life, the answer to the question, "Where have I been deceiving myself?" may become clear. If you've idealized your partner, this illusion may be rationally shattered, leading to a faded clarity. For those with children, a tangled issue concerning their lives may be resolved. Most importantly, you will stop acting emotionally or fancifully in speculative investments and switch to completely analytical and logical strategies. Uranus in Gemini is making a harsh T-square to the eclipse axis. You may experience very sudden and shocking developments financially. You may have to make a sudden and large expenditure for your love life or your children. Also, impulsive, sudden, and risky moves in speculative areas, such as the stock market or cryptocurrencies during this period, could lead to major financial crises or unexpected losses. Your spouse's or partner's income may also experience sudden fluctuations. You must protect your budget very tightly. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be your greatest savior during this period. No matter how much turmoil you experience in your financial or love life, you are under tremendous protection and will experience a significant rise in your career. You can reap the rewards of your past hard work, patience, and discipline in the form of social success, promotion, or growth in your career. Thanks to your professional standing and authority, you will not allow crises in the outside world to destroy you, and you will place your career on a much more solid foundation. On the other hand, secret loves, platonic feelings, or subconscious anxieties you hold within your inner world may clash with the harsh realities of your daily work life and responsibilities. You may feel lonely, unappreciated, or overwhelmed in the workplace. In terms of health, this conflict carries the risk of subconscious stress manifesting in your body, bones, skin, or digestive system. You should avoid overworking to the point of self-sabotage, take excellent care of your psychological and physical health, and learn to set boundaries. In summary, this eclipse is telling you, stop acting blindly in your love life, creativity, and investments. Open your eyes and use your logic. Completely avoid risky investments to protect yourself from sudden crises related to money and debts. Trust in your experience in daily work and the tremendous rise in your career. Heal your inner fears and suppressed emotions with maturity without projecting them onto your professional life. Dear Sagittarius, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th occurs in your 4th house, the most fundamental, intimate, and rooted area of your chart. In astrology, the 4th house governs home, family, roots, parents, place of residence, and inner peace. Its opposite sign, Virgo, is located in your 10th house. Because this eclipse has a mercurial nature, it will rationally question situations in your home and family life that you have long blindly believed in, sacrificed for, or ignored. The old fog in your eyes regarding family relationships or matters related to your home is completely dissipating. A hidden issue concerning older family members may become clear. You may ask yourself, how much am I sacrificing myself for my family? A period of fateful relocation, home sale, property acquisition, or restructuring the order within your home with a rational plan is beginning. You will establish a clear balance between your career and home life. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This fated transformation in your home and family life may be triggered by a sudden and disruptive impact in your house of relationships. Shocking news or an impulsive outburst from your spouse, partner, or business associate could completely change the agenda. Sudden tensions may arise within the family due to your relationships. Or you may experience a radical break in your marriage partnership where you say, I can't tolerate this anymore. Unexpected, fated divorces, marriage or partnership endings, beginnings are on the horizon. During this period, you should avoid making impulsive decisions in your relationships. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be an antidote to the upheavals in the outside world. No matter how much tension there is in your marriage or family life, you are under immense protection thanks to your perspective on life and personal vision. You can reap the rewards of the efforts and patience you have shown in your past love life or with your children in the form of a wise attitude towards life and a great expansion in international and academic fields. Thanks to your beliefs and creative projects, you will stand tall and transform crises into long-term successes. On the other hand, you may find yourself caught in a fated predicament between your social circle and friends, your love life, or the responsibilities of raising your children. Friends may create distance or coolness between you and your partner, or the strict rules and responsibilities imposed by your children or love life may prevent you from enjoying your social life. You should avoid impulsive moves and speculative investments that could jeopardize your future plans, and you should set boundaries with the discipline of Saturn. In summary, this eclipse tells you, clarify and clarify, using your own logic, anything in your home, family, and roots where you've been sacrificing yourself or blindly enduring. Remain flexible and calm in the face of sudden relationship and marriage crises brought about by Uranus. Trust your social circle and your dreams. However, in your love life and investments, take responsibility with maturity and adhere to the rules. Dear Capricorn, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th occurs in your third house, which symbolizes mental processes, communication, and your immediate environment. In astrology, the third house governs thought patterns, ideas, immediate surroundings, siblings, neighbors, short trips, trade, contracts, and education. Its opposite sign, Virgo, is located in your ninth house. Because this eclipse has a mercurial nature, it will cause you to rationally question long-held beliefs or sacrifices in your relationships with those close to you and in your business decisions. The old fog in your mind will completely dissipate, and you will see the truth with clear logic. A hidden matter concerning your siblings, relatives, or close friends may become clear. You will stop playing the victim in an ongoing business, education, or contract process, and will claim your rights. You will make fateful decisions to put your ideas on paper, sign a new agreement, or put travel plans in a rational order. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This transformation in your immediate environment or mind may be triggered by a sudden and disruptive impact on your professional life. A shocking piece of news or a rash development at work or in your daily routine could completely change the agenda. You may experience sudden communication crises with colleagues or a radical break in your working conditions where you say, I can't tolerate this anymore. Unexpected job changes or last-minute crises and projects are on the horizon. In terms of health, you should pay extra attention to your nervous system and minor accidents caused by hasty actions. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be an antidote to the upheavals in the outside world. No matter how much tension there is in the work environment, your family and home will be a tremendous anchor for you. You may reap the rewards of your past efforts and patience within your family in the form of a fated inheritance, growth in your spouse's finances, or the easy repayment of a debt. A past opportunity regarding home and property investments can be structured. You will feel secure thanks to your family ties. On the other hand, you may find yourself caught in a fated predicament between your bright, harmonious career and the demanding responsibilities of home and family. No matter how comfortable you feel at work, responsibilities at home, the health of elderly family members, or restrictions like moving can put pressure on you. Saturn here will remind you that you need to draw the lines between your career ambitions and your home in a much more mature, realistic, and planned way. In summary, this eclipse tells you, use your own logic to sift through anything you've sacrificed or blindly accepted in your mind, close relationships, and business plans. Maintain your composure in the face of sudden workplace and daily routine crises brought about by Uranus. In your career, rely on your charisma. However, maturely assume your responsibilities at home and with your family, and re-establish a work-life balance. Dear Aquarius, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th occurs in your second house, which symbolizes your financial resources, personal income, and self-worth. In astrology, the second house governs your earnings, budget, movable possessions, spending habits, and self-esteem. Its opposite sign, Virgo, is located in your eighth house. Because this eclipse has a mercurial nature, it will rationally question situations where you have long blindly relied on, let things flow, or made sacrifices regarding your financial resources. The old fog surrounding your income and budget is completely dissipating. You will clearly examine how you manage your hard-earned money. You may ask yourself, am I receiving the value and income I deserve? A faded source of income may close, or a transition to a completely new, more rational earning model may occur. You will restructure your debt and receivables balance with a very sharp analytical plan. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This fateful eclipse in your house of money may be triggered by the sudden and disruptive influence of Uranus in your house of risky investments During this period, impulsive, sudden, and risky moves in speculative areas such as the stock market, cryptocurrency, cryptocurrencies, or gambling could lead to very large financial shocks or sudden losses. You may also receive shocking news in your love life or concerning your children, and you may have to make a sudden and large expenditure for them. You should absolutely avoid impulsive decisions and gambling. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be an antidote to the financial fluctuations in the outside world. No matter how much turmoil you experience in financial matters or your love life, your partner, spouse, or close circle will offer you tremendous support. You may reap the rewards of the patience and maturity you have shown in the past with your close circle or in business agreements in the form of shared growth with your partner, good fortune in marriage, or a fated, profitable new business partnership. Your spouse or partner will wisely guide you in making rational decisions. On the other hand, you may find yourself caught in a fated predicament between your grand vision for life, your beliefs, or your academic or international plans, and the rigid, restrictive, or distant thoughts of your close circle or siblings. While you may yearn to go far and expand your vision, the responsibilities of your immediate environment or your old mental patterns may put pressure on you. Saturn here will remind you that you need to draw the boundaries between your thoughts and beliefs in a much more mature, realistic, and planned way. In summary, this eclipse tells you, use your own logic to sift through anything you've sacrificed or spent recklessly with your own money and budget. Completely avoid risky spending in the face of sudden stock market, crypto, or love crises that Uranus might bring. Trust in your chances of marriage and partnerships, and clarify your mind by maintaining rules and boundaries with maturity in your communication with your close circle. Dear Pisces, the Mercury-led lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 28th occurs directly in your first house, which symbolizes your identity, body, appearance, and personal motivations in life. In astrology, the first house represents the main backbone of life. Its opposite sign, Virgo, is located in your 7th house. Because this eclipse has a mercurial nature, the sky's greatest fateful spotlight shines on you. You will rationally question all the areas in your life, relationships, and personal goals where you have long blindly sacrificed yourself and felt like a victim. The old fog in your eyes regarding your identity, health, and what you want from life is completely dissipating. You will realize how much you have compromised yourself to please others. Instead of maintaining balance in your relationships, you will reveal your own truths with sharp logic. A radical change in appearance, a lifestyle renewal, and fateful personal decisions are on the horizon. Uranus in Gemini forms a harsh T-square with the eclipse axis. This major awakening you will experience regarding yourself and your relationships may be triggered by Uranus's sudden and disruptive influence on your home and family life. A very sudden move, change of residence, or sale of property may come to the fore. Shocking news from your elders or family members, or family crises, may suddenly change the course of your life. You may experience sudden changes of residence due to the end of a marriage or partnership. During this period, you should absolutely avoid impulsive outbursts and suddenly burning bridges in family relationships. The trine aspect that Jupiter, the ruler of the eclipse, forms with retrograde Saturn will be the greatest remedy for familial and personal upheavals in the outside world. No matter how much your life or home is shaken by winds of change, you are under tremendous protection and structure regarding your work and finances. You can reap the rewards of your past efforts, patience, and budget discipline in financial matters in the form of significant growth in your daily work life, a new job offer, or a relaxation in working conditions. The tangible successes you produce through your work will allow you to rebuild your self-worth. On the other hand, you may find yourself caught in a fated dilemma between your own earned money and budget and the debts, loans, or money of a partner or spouse that you have to pay. While financial support from others may be very strong, Saturn can bring restrictions, rigid rules, or feelings of inadequacy when managing your own money. Here, Saturn will remind you that you need to manage your money and financial partnerships with much more maturity, planning, and a sense of responsibility. You will set strict boundaries against financial exploitation and manipulation. In summary, this eclipse tells you, destroy everything in your life, identity, and relationships where you've sacrificed yourself or blindly remained silent, using your own logic, and rebuild yourself. Maintain your composure and resilience in the face of sudden moves or family crises brought about by Uranus. Trust in your productivity at work, and in your budget and debt relationships, take responsibility with maturity and adherence to the rules.